exhibit number 002. And it's going to be hard to communicate here, but I'll do my best to speak clearly. This is a message I sent to Chad on May 4th at 3:22 p.m. Essentially, I'll just skim through it fast, and you guys can pause on it and review it in detail if you want later on. But essentially, it's me going to him, telling him that, we've been having trouble with the internet for a long time, and I've asked him to address it. Simply not speaking to some co-worker or some random person in the parking lot was not an acceptable solution. And that because he had been neglecting and failure to make and repair and do regular maintenance on the unit, and definitely repairs were needed, not just on the unit for regular, but they were in dire need of many repairs that I'll cover later on. But in short, I told him that at this time that I would be withholding rent until he provided me with his proper address and name for service, as I'd be filing an application for remedies to the tribunal or the Superior Court. I hadn't exactly decided the outcome or my means and modes to do so. But subsequently, he come downstairs about 15-20 minutes later, and he said, here's a notice that he was going to move into the unit. But, even though he lives upstairs in a 2-bedroom apartment, he's a single man. He's lived up there for about 5 years, several years, in fact, 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years. He lived up there prior to purchasing the unit, right? So he's aware of a lot of things around here. Yeah, he makes it sound like at this time he hasn't told anybody that where he lives. He just simply says that he's a purchaser and he wants to move into the unit, intends to keep it for 1 year. Now, I also made him aware that was in accordance with law, and I sent him links. And so this had started because of internet service, right? We had been talking much prior to me sending him this message for several weeks, if not months, in regards to internet and repairs that were required. Both of those things I'll cover in detail further on in these materials and exhibits and arguments. But I also want to notice here, just before I leave this, is that he wanted to come down and interrupt services and discontinue services that were included with the rental amount, such as internet. Now, this is not the first time he's done things like that, and I'll cover that later on, where he's done that with the hydro, and he's demanded and tried to coerce us into paying the hydro, right, without any compensation for example, that while he may be able to make us pay for a hydro and put it into our name, that he's going to have to remove that from the rental amount. He wouldn't agree to such things, so he never did actually change it. And so far, all the utilities were included. But that's not to say that we haven't had interruption of services or experienced coercion and being threatened and harassed by a landlord in regards to those services. Okay? Thank you.